Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we didn't.
Now, we finally have a new update on the tragic drowning of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. According to ABC 7, reports confirm that Malcolm-Jamal Warner lost his life while vacationing in Costa Rica. The article explains that he drowned off the Costa Rican coast this past Sunday.
Life, it's fragile, and in the blink of an eye,
you never know.
You never know. So speaking of legacy, what do you hope that your legacy is going to be?
There is part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person.
Katt Williams has been saying it for years. If you don't play by Hollywood's rules, especially as a black man, they'll slowly shut you out. And when you really look at Malcolm-Jamal Warner's career, it all starts to add up. Malcolm wasn't about chasing fame, and he walked away from roles that made black men look like jokes. He refused the whole throw on a dress, act like a fool thing, and that's exactly why they benched him. Not because he lacked talent, because that man had plenty, but because he wouldn't fall in line. Now that he's gone, suddenly every blog and celebrity is calling him a legend and talking about how overlooked he was. But where was that energy while he was still here? Where was all that love when he was doing meaningful work his way? This isn't about throwing around conspiracy theories for views. This is about patterns. Katt Williams has been calling this out for a long time, putting folks on game about how the industry handles those who push back. So let's unpack what Katt has been trying to expose, what Malcolm actually stood for, and why all this praise showed up only after he passed.
Because I spent, so much of the early part of my life listening to being celebrated on one hand, but paying way too much attention to the naysayers.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner, forever known as Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, passed away unexpectedly on July 20th, 2025. He was enjoying a family trip in Limon, Costa Rica, swimming with his 8-year-old daughter, when the two were pulled into a dangerous rip current. That beach is notorious for its deadly tides and often lacks lifeguard protection. And on that day, no lifeguards were on duty. Resources had been moved to other beaches following recent incidents.
First things we saw when we pulled up to the beach, signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
Surfers nearby noticed the father and daughter caught in the current. One of them managed to save the little girl, while another rushed toward Malcolm. Sadly, by the time emergency responders made it to the scene, it was too late. Malcolm passed away from asphyxia due to drowning, and the man who tried to help him was taken to a local hospital in critical condition. Later, the autopsy confirmed what many hoped wasn't true. His death was ruled a tragic accident.
Beach, where officials say a dangerous rip current swept away Malcolm-Jamal Warner. The Cosby Show star drowning in secluded paradise on Sunday.
What makes that beach so treacherous?
It's similar to other beaches where there are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water. Costa Rica's Red Cross says they were able to rescue another man alive who was taken to a clinic in critical condition.
Rica, Jesse, officials say Warner's autopsy is now complete.
It was completed this morning, according to authorities, Tom, and they say that it confirmed that Warner's drowning death was, in fact, an accident.
Part of why Malcolm's passing hit us so hard is because he was that rare kind of child star, the kind who never strayed off course, never sold his soul. He built his own legacy, a self-made multimillionaire, Emmy-nominated actor, Grammy-winning musician, accomplished poet, director, and passionate activist. He was also a committed husband, never divorced, and a proud father with no children born outside of marriage. A man of integrity through and through.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having a girl. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it, because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with the father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her out of my wife.
Everybody who worked with Malcolm had nothing but love and admiration for him. He moved like a man who was grounded, confident, and centered. Then suddenly, in the prime of life, 54 years old, healthy, vacationing with family in Paradisey, dies in a freak accident. The only thing tragic about Malcolm's life was that it ended too soon. But while he was here, he lived fully, gracefully, intentionally. Still, we have to talk about how Hollywood turned its back on him while he was alive, and how Katt Williams' warnings are now hitting way too close. See, Malcolm didn't fall off. He just didn't play the game. After The Cosby Show, he could have gone all in network leads, flashy sitcoms, goofy comedy flicks. But instead, he stayed selective and stayed real. He refused roles that made black men look like clowns. No wigs, no dresses, no acting like some cartoon. He wanted to show something authentic. And that's where Katt Williams comes in, because he's been yelling this from the mountaintops. In interviews, comedy specials, podcasts, you name it, he's but exposing how the system boxes black entertainers, and if you don't play the fool, they lock you out.
Choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
Katt turned down those same types of roles, fat suits, clown wigs, loud buffoonery. And what did they do? They slapped labels on him, said he was hard to work with, unstable, and out of control, all because he wouldn't play the caricature they wanted.
There has never been a person that has been parodied 9 times on Saturday Night Live and yet never been invited other than me. I, at this point, take it as a badge of honor that they don't fuck with me. A lot of times when people are doing an impression of you, they're really showing you how they feel about you. You know what I mean? So for Saturday Night Live to have an impression of me and have a woman do that means they think I'm a bitch. And I understand that that's what they're saying when they do that. I understand how the game goes, and I understand that if you love me, I know why you do. And if you don't with me, I understand why.
Malcolm was sharp, focused, and full of talent, but because he didn't fit Hollywood's mold and refused to tap dance for the spotlight, they kept him on the sidelines. And the thing is, Malcolm didn't lose sleep over it. He built his own lane, launched a podcast called Not All Hood, where he regularly called out how Hollywood and mainstream media lumped black folks into one tied stereotype.
Is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The black community is not a monolith.
But instead of folding to Hollywood's expectations, Malcolm gravitated toward work rooted in purpose projects, centered on justice, education, and real history. He acted in and produced plays and documentaries that explored systemic racism and black legacy. In 2021, he penned a powerful op-ed for the Television Academy, calling out how white executives, producers, directors, and writers still hold the keys to how black stories get told. Malcolm wrote, "During those brief moments when black creatives are allowed in the room and offered a slice of input, the stereotypes often still survive if the characters wear suits or carry degrees." He didn't just stop there. He also challenged modern rap culture, calling out the misogyny, the toxic masculinity, and pushing hard for real accountability and community healing.
There should be a moratorium on both of those words in hip-hop because it's low-lying fruit, it's so easy, everybody fucking does it, to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing nigga and bitch
as much
every 2 sentences, because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist
that you think if you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
I feel like
When that Kendrick versus Drake drama exploded last year, Malcolm didn't sugarcoat a thing. He openly criticized how hip-hop seems to only dominate headlines when it's pushing beef, negativity, or tearing someone down.
Drake beef, which, you know, they talk about how much they hate each other and give all these references to violence and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think, even though we enjoy those songs and they're bops, do you think that has a detrimental impact upon the culture ultimately?
Ultimately, yes. It's been normalized for, you know, us to call ourselves the N-word, right? And we like to talk about how we've taken the power of that word back. But I'm of the school of thought. If I'm trying to speak love and upliftment to my brother, why am I going to borrow a word from people who use the word because they hate me? But we get caught up in, oh, well, we're turning the N-word into a positive. But our music is not reflecting positivity, love, and upliftment of our culture. And we're at a point now where so much of our, especially our music, so much of our black music, when you strip away the music and just listen to the lyrics, so much of our black music is really anti-black.
Oh, you think so?
When you think about it, think of, you know, I mean, you almost cannot have hip hop without talking about drugs, using the N-word, and murking somebody.
Right.
You know, or calling a female, you know, a bitch or a hoe. Like that's become such we've normalized that so much that I think we need a space where we can say, wait a minute, wait, that's not all who we are.
So when Katt Williams says the industry only celebrates you when they control your image, this is what he's talking about. Malcolm wasn't just trying to be famous, he wanted to redefine how black men were portrayed. Complex, intelligent, authentic. But the machine wanted him in that safe little box, the cute teen heartthrob or the comic relief. And when he refused, when he passed on roles that would have made him more famous but less respected, that's when things got quiet. Meanwhile, other black actors in his era were skyrocketing by leaning all the way into stereotypes, playing the game, grabbing those fat checks, and hey, some of them flipped it to their advantage. But that wasn't Malcolm's route. He stayed true and he paid for it in interviews. He'd hint that even his own team thought he was too serious, not marketable enough. Translation: too black, too thoughtful, too principled. And just like Katt said, if you don't play the clown or bow to their humiliating little rituals, they phase you out quietly, strategically. That's the playbook.
How people feel about the ritual. It's about just following the ritual work. Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
But now that Malcolm's gone, suddenly he's everywhere. Hollywood can't post tributes fast enough. Celebs dropping emotional stories, media calling him a legend, and articles popping up like they always saw him. But where was that energy before? Because let's be real, he didn't chase the spotlight. He didn't sell his soul for stardom, and the big networks barely acknowledged him while he was here. Now all of a sudden, streaming platforms got unreleased projects, and brands are throwing his name around for feel-good points. He went from too serious to iconic overnight. That's how this system moves. They wait till it's convenient, until you can't talk back, until you're no longer a threat to their version of the story. Katt Williams Ben told us the industry only honors black excellence when it's silent, when it's safe, when they can flip it for clout. So what is this really, love or a late-stage PR sweep? Malcolm didn't play the game, and for that, he got sidelined, not celebrated. He wasn't just another name. He was one of the very few who kept it solid in a fake world. His death ain't just sad, it's a wake-up call. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Malcolm iced out for standing on principle? And why does it always take a funeral for Hollywood to show fake love? Let's talk about it. Catch you in the next one.